have been checking out these YouTube videos about the no-go zone controversy that's been going on, and I wanted to comment about it, but, you know, I decided to, check out, see what the response is going to be and all of that stuff. And I came upon this video, and in the comment section of this video, there was an American who said that the American news network don't usually report news about, like, ordinary news about other countries. Really, it's usually bombing or Al Qaeda stuff, or if a plane crashes happen. But like everyday little things that would happen that would be of some kind of interest to people doesn't show here. So what he said is that so when statements like the no-go zone comes up, it's easy for some people to actually believe that this is true because they're not really aware of the other culture, you know. And I kind of thought about that. I know, me being an immigrant and everything, I kind of thought about what he said, and it sort of reminded me of when I first came to this country, and I landed in a college called the College of the Kentucky Mountains, and the things that were said to me there, it's like they had no clue where I'm from. It sort of amazed me that I know so much about them, but they didn't know anything about me, per se. And I would get questions like, do you guys wear shoes in your country? Do you have cars in your country? I've had people go so far as to ask me if we still fight lions and elephants and stuff. I don't know why they ask me that, because I'm not African, but those are the type of questions that I got. Now, the one incident that really got me, and I mean, it took me off guard, was I was in a library studying one day, and with me was this young lady from Sweden, and this also proves another point, that the perception of you also have to do with culture, race, and nationality. Because here we are sitting, talking and stuff. And, well, they were talking, I was listening. Like, I was trying to study and everything. But the Swedish young lady was sitting next to me. They were asking her questions like, what's the culture like in your country? What other types of religions there is in your country? You know what I mean? What is the food like? What do questions you would ask of a foreigner when you meet them. I used to ask those questions to tourists when I met them on the beach back home. It's natural questions. So when they were done asking her questions, one of the young ladies sitting there that was asking the questions looked at me with an absolute serious face, no joke, nothing like that. She turned and she asked me, do you still eat people in your country? That was a question she asked me. I was kind of stunned, Why would you ask me if we still eat people in my country? And I remember sitting there for a few seconds, and I'm going to tell you my response because I think it's kind of classic. I remember sitting there, how am I going to answer this? Because this was sort of a religious school, you know what I mean? And being who I am, I was trying to use tact, which is kind of hard for me because I usually blah out of the mouth and thing like that. But I finally said, yeah, we still eat people, but only the women, because they keep coming back for more, so they must like it. And then everybody got quiet. They thought my response was rude. But I thought, you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer. See, I told us there's a reason why I'm telling that story. There's a reason why I'm telling you all that story. Okay, they knew I was coming. I was on a basketball scholarship. Because when I got there, lots of people knew I was coming. So I thought, it's an institution of higher education. People would, try to find out what's going on and stuff. And at least if you're going to ask questions, try to find out a little bit more about me. Instead of asking a stupid question like that, where would you get, information like that? It's either they don't know and just ask a stupid question, or they didn't take the time to figure out, what the vibe is, where is he from, what's his culture like, you know what I mean? Before they ask a question, because I guarantee you they were asking specific questions to the Swedish lady. And I'm not saying it was racism, that's not what I'm saying. I ain't pulling the race thing on here. I'm just saying that it also depends on your culture and your race and your religion and everything, what people think of you. There's preconceived notion. If somebody say voodoo, they think, oh, they're going to cast spells on me, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But okay. Another example of that is the voodoo. You know what I mean? The voodoo that people learn of here is the Hollywood voodoo, which is fiction. But they never really go check it out to see what is going on. I'm no voodooist, I'm just drawing a reference here. You know what I mean? The whole idea of this is, instead of only listening to people that talk about different cultures, who talk about those cultures from their own perspective, their own cultural perspective, do a little research and thing and figure out from the people who live in that culture. And I'm not talking about the politicians, because we know politicians have their own agenda. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff people hear today is what politicians say. But they do it for their own agenda. What you believe is going to dictate how they're going to deal with you come next election, or when they have to pass bills and stuff like that. And it happens even within this country. I'll give you another example of people not doing their research and not figuring out what's going on. I used to work at a call center, and I got a call from a gentleman in Brooklyn, New York. I live in Huntington, West Virginia. Don't ask how this tropical boy ended up in the mountains and thing, but that's where I live. And we talked for a while, and I used to live in Brooklyn, so we ended up talking about that a little bit. And he said, "Well, what is a brother like you doing and coming from the Caribbean and living in West Virginia? You must be surrounded by those rednecks." You know what I mean? And so I look around where I was sitting there in the call center, and I said, "Nah, I'm surrounded by college students pretty much." And he said, "Oh no, I mean, I'm talking about the outskirts of there, you know what I mean?" And I'm not saying there's not rednecks here, and I'm not saying there's not, questionable people here. There's questionable people everywhere. But he was trying to say that I'm going to get, somebody's going to shoot me, they're going to lynch me, you know what I mean? I've been living here since like 1986. That hasn't happened yet. Well, no, not 86, 87, no, 88, sorry. Getting old. But anyway, and I told him, just like you are living out there in Brooklyn, thinking everything here is overrun by rednecks, it's the same way some people here are thinking, because I know not all people think like that in Brooklyn, do that. It's the way that some people here are thinking about out there, oh, look at them all in blacks out there. You don't want to go out there, but they don't know each other, and you live in the same country. So, what happens is that that's expanded internationally. When I was growing up in the Caribbean, we learned about every culture. I don't know how it is now. I haven't been through the school system there. But when I was growing up, I learned about Mahatma Gandhi. I learned about the French Revolution. I learned about the colonization, the colonists, the British. Learn about America. We learn about everything. And the reason for that is we live in a world. We don't just live in a country. We live in a world. And people come and go in this world. In my country, people come and go. We have people from all nationalities living in our country. You know what I mean? And the idea is to understand these people so that if we're going to live together, we have to get along. If we're going to live together, we have to get along. We have to understand them. Usually, the prevalent thing that you see about any culture, any religion, any system for that matter, is not what the people are thinking. There's just like people just living just like me and you, paycheck to paycheck. And all the rhetoric and propaganda don't really have anything to do with us. But then, usually the people who live like that don't have any control anyway. So those who control are the ones that are telling everybody what to think. I can't tell you how many times I run into people, especially in the university setting, where they will try to tell me what it's like in my country, because that's what they teach in their classes, if at all they talk about different cultures. They teach from their own cultural perspective. You cross that line, and then they question you, even if you come from there. I've had that happen to me several times. So that's why it's imperative, I would say, to do your own research and try to wash yourself of your own cultural perspective just for the purposes of trying to understand the next person. I had to do that. That's how I survived living in a different country. Because if I had listened to everything everybody said, I would have issues. I was told before I came here. I had to learn everything all over again. You know what I mean? I managed to live, maintaining my culture, but live in this culture. So, let's look at it from a world perspective. We have to learn how to live in this world culture, which is different cultures that makes up that one big human culture, in order to survive, in order to get along, or else we're just going to keep fighting. You know, that's all I'm trying to say here. You know what I mean? Don't get your sources from institutions that are politically motivated, because there's a reason why they're saying these things. There's a reason why they're saying these things. They're not stupid. They got degrees and stuff. But they're going to say these things like the no-go zone because they're trying to push an agenda. And the rest of us, like me and you, the normal working class folks, that's the only way we could get our news. They believe it's not. You could go do research, and like I said, don't look at it from your own cultural perspective. That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll do more videos here shortly. The channel is the Dirty Immigrant. That's me. And the next thing I think I'll try to tackle is immigration, because I'm an immigrant. Anyway, so, you know, subscribe and look out for more videos. Thank you for listening and thing. Hope a little information come through there, you know, that might make you go, let me check this out. You all have a good evening, night, day, morning, whatever it is. Remember, always walk in peace.
Brooklyn, 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 Brooklyn.